Listen, okay, guys, I'm about to talk about Belle Delphine, and if you have a problem with that and you are sensitive to sexual assault, kidnapping, rape, all those bad things, please don't watch this part because you might get upset. Yeah, I care about you guys. Be good, be responsible when watching this. Okay, Belle Delphine is a sex worker, and she takes lots of lewd pictures and videos, and she makes sets about all that. And she is very controversial because she's not like the other girls, if I were to say it lightly. She's very different, not vanilla at all. And personally, I like Belle Delphine. I'm gonna go into this with that bias. I am a fan of Belle Delphine, and I like her as a person, and I like her work. I think she does a good job, and she's very pretty. What did she do that got everyone very upset? Well, she released a set where the content or genre of the set involved her getting like kidnapped and stuff and like raped in the woods. This was consensually done. No one actually got hurt. She enjoyed it, and it was good. Everything was okay. Nobody actually got hurt. And this is a kink called CNC, or non-consensual consent. What it basically means is you're role playing like you don't consent, but you actually do consent. So it's like no means yes. When you say no, that means yes. And typically to do this safely, you would have to have a safe word, any word that is different and out there enough, that you and your partner agree upon. You have your safe word, and you use the safe word to stop the engagement if you don't like it. That's how that works. And so we're gonna read Belle Delphine's response because I absolutely agree with this, and I'm going to talk about people who disagree, and as well, I'm also going to try to be educational and talk about kink and how it should be done healthily, as well as trigger warnings and all my thoughts about all that. But I also want to try to educate people. There's nothing wrong with enjoying power play and BDSM where both people are consensual. I think saying because I enjoy consensual non-consent, CNC, is promoting rape is the same as the argument that violence in video games promotes violence. So, CNC is not rape. It's not rape if, by definition, the parties involved consent. If it is consensual, it's by definition not rape. So, her argument is that, like, if we were to argue that violence in video games is real violence, right, then we would have to argue that doing a violent act in a video game is just as bad as doing it in real life. But that's not the case because it's not real violence. It's virtual, it's digital, it's simulated. This scene and the shoot that she did, it was simulated. It was not real. It was made to look like there wasn't consent, just like how video games are made to look violent. It's not actually a lack of consent. There was consent beforehand, and she confirms it here. I made it very clear in the caption of my photo and anything written about it that I was enjoying it and that it was consensual. I never said the word rape or anything against my will. This is what other people have put onto it. I enjoy the idea of being tied up and used with my consent, obviously. Another thing is that people have said is that I am trying to dress like a child, which to me is insane. I felt like dressing vintage that day and even styled my hair in a beehive that was very common for women at that time. All of the clothes I wear are made for adults. The only thing that people can comment on maybe is the fact that I'm wearing a cute dress. Okay, for me, even if she was dressed as a child and role-playing as a child, one, she's not an actual child, so that's kind of irrelevant. And two, as someone who is a libertarian, there is nothing wrong with wearing clothes that are for kids. You have that right to put on any clothes you want on your body. I have no room to criticize you there. It's not up to me what clothes you put on. It's if you are to get upset that someone is dressing like a kid, you would also have to get upset at like men wearing dresses or something. Like it's just as stupid. Like people can put on whatever they want. That's another thing that I wanted to bring up. Clothes are just clothes. They're not, just because you're wearing kids' clothes doesn't mean you're a kid now and that the person having sex with you is a pedophile. That's not how that works. And if people are interpreting it like that, there's a huge disconnect from reality. And yeah, so I wanted to address that. It's very confusing for me since I see other people dress like it all the time. If it's about how I genetically look, I can't change that at all, and I will not apologize for it either, nor will I stop being sexual since I am a sexually active adult. Everything she's talking about here is within her full rights as a human being to express herself this way. No one likes rape. No one wants rape to exist. Saying that I support rape is the same as saying that 50% of the female population does, because if you look at the statistics based on the studies that were done over the last 30 years, including new studies, 31 to 61% of women have a power play / rape fantasy in the exact same way that she does. And yeah, I mean, if you've ever been on like Pornhub or anything, half of that shit is like staged rape. Like, it's really not that weird. It's really not that weird. I consented to being tied up and having rough sex. I'm not apologizing for anything. What I did wasn't wrong and much more normal than people think. Look at one of the most common sexual outfits and fantasies, schoolgirl. If you wear that, are you promoting pedophilia now? Because, yeah, schoolgirls are kind of underage. They're in school. But it's just clothes. It's not real life. It's just clothes. The front page of porn websites include fantasy scenarios of every kind that you can think of. Incest, stepmom, teacher, etc. Just because someone likes the fantasy of something doesn't mean that they want it in real life. Sex is complex and explorative, but should always be consensual. I support this completely. When it comes to things in kink, and when it comes to people's sexual fantasies, they should never go into the real world. What do I mean by that? I mean, like, if you are a furry and you're sexually attracted to anthropomorphic animals, not saying that all furries are, it's just that some are. So there are a population of furries that are. For those furries, it should remain strictly a fantasy, and it should not go into the real world where you're actually engaging in sexual activity with an animal. I'm just using that as an example because I'm pretty sure most furries do not have sex with animals, and that they actually love and care about animals very much. From the furries that I've talked to. Fantasies like this don't apply to the real world. The closest they get to the real world is role play, which is what Belle Delphine did. She role played getting kidnapped and tied up and raped. That was the role play. It wasn't real. It was fake. But I mean, people seem to be very mad about it. I post a lot of sexual stuff on my Twitter because it's for my OnlyFans. People who are sensitive to kinks and sexual content should not be following me. I made it very clear that I'm posting hardcore porn. Yeah, don't follow her if you don't like this. If you don't like hardcore sexual content, or maybe this shoot was too much for you, just stop following her. You don't have to make a whole big deal out of it on the internet and, cause her stress like this. I saw an argument on Twitter where someone was like, I don't follow her, but people I follow her, and they liked it, and then I saw it, and I don't turn on the content warning or the content filter because I'm strong enough to handle most content, but this one was too much for me. And I'm just like, listen, when you go on the internet, especially Twitter, you're probably gonna see something you don't want to see. It's happened to me a lot. But when I see something online that I don't like, I don't complain about it on the internet like a lot. And I just kind of move on. You just kind of keep scrolling. You see the thing, you're like, okay, that's a thing I didn't like, and you just move on. Especially if it's something that's not actually harmful. Staying true to myself and my beliefs is more important than following the tide of angry, angsty people on the internet. Can you imagine a world where people actually posted how they individually felt rather than how their whole cancel culture shitty community felt? It would be a better and more productive one. As for people saying that I should have used a trigger warning, my whole Twitter and OnlyFans have constant themes of kink since I do porn as a job, and I will not put a trigger warning on all my posts. Do not follow me if you require trigger warnings before posts. P.S. It was the best sex I've had in months, and I'm planning to do it again very soon. As a creator, she is not obligated to put trigger warnings on anything she does. She's not. It is not something that she's required to do. It is her choice to express herself as she wants. And I'm going to say that it would have made the situation for her a lot less angry, and people wouldn't have been as mad if she did put a trigger warning on this shoot. But she was in no way obligated or required to do so, and I do not judge her for not doing so. That's up to her. And if she as the creator requests that if you require trigger warnings, don't follow her, I think that you should respect that. So she's just kind of sitting here in the car. She's got tied up. She's got duct tape, and yeah, she's just chilling. And then they go in the woods and they fuck, and that's the thing. Yeah, I really don't think that's bad. I'm gonna read your guys' thoughts. She's wearing like a cute dress, and people could say that this is like childlike, I guess, but even if it was like a kid's dress, doesn't matter. She can put whatever she wants on her body. It's her right to express herself. Also, if you're complaining that she physically looks like a child, that's not her problem. If you're into, I mean, if you have a partner who physically looks like a child and you're sexually active with them, you're not a pedophile just because they look like a kid. Yeah, there is way worse porn out there. And you're right. It's not Belle's responsibility to educate people on these things, but we have to educate people. Here's an argument. The fact that a lot of males will see this and think this is normal. They don't know about safe words, long discussions, and therapy that take place before engaging in a scene. They just see it as rape. Males that see it like this are dumb. Females that see it like this are dumb. I don't care what you are. You see it like this, you're dumb, and you need some education. You need to learn that it's okay. And Belle Delphine did educate everyone on this, that this is consensual. Even though it's not her responsibility, she did say this is CNC, and this is okay, and it is. Yeah, I agree, Onik. I feel like people are so quick to call anything a pedophile or whatever. Calling everything pedo makes it harder for actual people to use the word against people who are actually pedophiles. Yeah, kind of oversaturates the term. Yes, everyone needs to be sexually responsible when it comes to kinks. We need to do it in a safe, sane, and consensual way. That is the most healthy way to go about it. And everything Belle has done abided by that. She didn't do anything wrong. This hentai is so much worse. There's so much worse themes in hentai. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of hot. Like, I kind of want to be treated like that.